This meeting of the Westport Historical Commission is called to order. Present are, let's see, we have 6 of us. So Catherine, you're an alternate, but tonight you'll be a voting member. Voting members are Caroline Bolter, Catherine Reppert, Garrett Stuck, Deborah Chiolfi, Beverly Shuk, and Ward Mooney.
Hello.
And welcome to Ward and Catherine. This is their first meeting with the commission.
Welcome.
So,
Thank you.
yeah, happy to have you.
I'm happy to be here.
Okay, first item of business, the minutes. We have 2 sets of minutes, one for the executive session, which we'll consider at the end of this meeting in executive session, and then the other set from our meeting on July 1st. So at this moment, we're discussing only the minutes from July 1st. Anybody have any comments, changes to the minutes?
I have one comment, the very second bullet where we talk about approving last meeting's minutes. I had put holding places because I had to go back and listen to the recording to figure out who did the motions. So I amended the minutes. So Bill Kendall moved to approve the minutes, and Bev seconded that.
Okay.
So I will replace those X's with the correct initials
Okay.
and be submitted to Deb.
Just to note, the minutes that you gave me, I fixed the names of the folks that you had questioned. So
I saw
use
that.
that
I did.
version. Okay, great.
Yep.
Any other comments? I had a few comments. So item 7, the roll call vote should have been 4-0 because I recused myself, and I think there should be a note there. Garrett Stuck recused himself from the discussion and vote.
And that's the fortune, because it was your home.
It was my home, right?
Smart.
He was on the other side
It
of
was-
the table.
I was,
that
yeah.
night.
And then number 11, I think the word bunker should be replaced with pool structure. And number 15, the URL is missing in this version. URL for the video.
Number 11, under monitor's report, is that what you said?
Yeah, under number 11 on monitors reports, bunker, the last word bunker should be replaced with pool structure.
Pool structure, okay.
And then 15 is missing a URL.
Okay.
Do I hear a motion
I so move. We accept the minutes
as amended?
as amended.
Second. I
Seconded by Deborah. Let's do a roll call vote. So the way we do a roll call vote is say your name and your vote. So Ward?
Ward Mooney, I vote yes.
Beverly Shook, yes.
Deborah Chiolfi, aye.
Garrett Stuck, aye.
Catherine Reppert, aye.
Caroline Bolter, aye.
Okay, approved unanimously. Treasurer's report. So I have a report. I'm still the treasurer. Looking for volunteers. Anyways, so this is the last report from fiscal year 2024, and we actually ended with a balance of $343.50 in our general expense account. We had $700 in our revenue account, which is the sum of all the applications that we considered, so that would have been 14 applications. Town farm expense account, $350.21 was the ending balance. WHC trust funds, those are funds that roll over, continue. WHC trust fund was $19,602.15. Town farm trust, $7,268.91. Wolf Pit School Trust, $8,239.76. Do I hear a motion to approve the minutes? I mean, the treasurer's report?
I move to approve the treasurer's report.
I second.
Second.
Okay, we have, I think Catherine seconded it. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, Caroline Bolter.
Let's, I think we can do a Voice vote.
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. Okay, so the first item of business, let's see, on the agenda here. First item of business is a application for historical demolition permit for 204 Main Road. So this is a barn. It's outside of the historical district, but it is on the Massachusetts Register of Historic Buildings, and so it would require a permit from us to demolish the barn. So do we have okay, John Paul? Yeah, you just come here, state your name, and just tell us a little bit. I have pictures of the barn that John Paul sent us. I'll pass those
I've seen
around.
them. We can pass
Oh,
this
you've
way.
seen them,
If you
okay.
want to put a picture.
And could you please introduce yourself just so I can get into minutes?
John Paul DeRoy,
John Paul,
DeRoy,
DeRoy.
R-O-Y. So we bought the property in
You can have a
November.
seat if you like. You can
Oh,
sit
oh,
here.
sure. We bought the property in November, and the barn, unfortunately, it had been let go for a long time. You know, we've met some of the Tripp neighbors that knew the property for 9 decades, and even they have seen over the years that the barn just hadn't been maintained when it was even in their family. So we are proposing to raise the barn and build a traditional timber frame in its place. And my goal is to make it look like it's been there. So it won't be a fully shingled, true Westport barn, but we'll use board and batten siding with the front face shingled, simple corner boards. It will have overhangs. I know a lot of the barns here don't have overhangs, but for heat reasons, I'm trying to get a little bit of an overhang just to try to make the barn a little bit more comfortable. So we've given it an honest look at trying to save it, and it's just not worth it, unfortunately.
Yeah, the pictures
Yeah,
look like it's about to fall over.
Yeah.
I mean, it's-
it's
Yeah.
amazing that it's standing as straight as
Right,
it is.
yeah.
Are
Bill,
are you able to reuse or save any of the lumber?
I have
from it?
had probably 6 or 7 people that reclaim barns come to look at it, and all of them have passed, given the amount of work that's involved. I would love to have somebody take it for free if anybody's listening, if anybody wants any. But the cost benefit thing is I can't either pay for somebody in the machine to carefully piece by piece it. So I have tried to find somebody to take any of it really. I'm going to reuse some of the flooring that's still intact, but that's kind of it. Yeah.
yeah,
Does
so,
it have-
so Bill Kendall and I went and looked at the barn, and there's actually very little that could, I
Yeah.
mean, there's so little framing, it's surprising when it stands
Yeah,
up.
yeah.
So it's not like they're big timbers that could be used.
Yeah.
Even the timbers that are there were
Right.
reused from some
They were reused from some things,
prior buildings, so.
which is unfortunate.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, does it have mold and rot?
Rot, mold, yeah.
Mold,
Well,
too.
mold. I mean, it's a fungus, but yeah, it's rot. And the roof has had water ingress for God knows how long. So yeah, there's some very soft areas. There are still some intact areas, but just the overall level of water damage is pretty significant.
And this is your picture of what
Yes.
you wanna do?
Yeah.
Is the footprint the same for the new barn? You're gonna go right in exactly the same
It's
spot?
right in the same spot. The existing barn is 30 by 30 with a 15 by 15 addition in the back, and we're going to go on the same footprint and go 30 by 40 feet. It's easier to build, so net gain of 100 square feet.
Without the addition in the back, just all.
Right, it'll be a rectangle as opposed to the L shape. So.
This is my first meeting.
Oh, hi.
Where is it?
204 Main.
Oh, 204 Main,
Yeah,
right.
yep.
Okay, thanks.
I'm there all the time if anybody would love to come see it.
Well, I remember seeing the star when I went
Oh,
past
okay.
it, so
Yeah,
I knew it looked
yeah.
familiar.
Yeah.
Would you consider, just for more authenticity, to make this the barn doors, like either sliding or?
They will be, all of the doors there's a door on the end that's facing the road, and then there's one also facing Benjamin Tripp Road, which is a little cul-de-sac on the side, and both will be swinging barn doors, not sliding. A little easier to insulate.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bill and I looked at it, and I think we both felt that it was not worth saving or even possible to save it, really,
Yeah.
because it really is underbuilt.
Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah. And the foundation that's in it, it's got a very typical Westport fitted heavy stone foundation that is the existing foundation, and our plan is to take all of the stones out and reuse them for a few retaining wall projects that are adjacent to the barn, and then with other future projects on the property as well. So all of the stone stays right there at 204 Main. I will get to it eventually. I hope.
They have a way of accumulating.
Yeah.
All right.
So this is a application that doesn't require a public hearing, but if anybody in the audience would like to comment,
Why is it on the historic register?
well, the house is on so a lot of these structures, the house is on the historic register, and the house is actually, it was built when?
I think the original date was 1785.
Uh-huh.
But that may have been, and I spoke to Jim Tripp, he thinks that may have been when the house was originally down by the river
Mhm.
on the same Tripp family homestead. But then it may have been moved. I think the listed date, there's a date on a plaque on the front end, it says 1815, and he thinks that may have been when it was rebuilt up here. So that frame had been moved as well. So.
Yeah, and so the listing is actually for the house, but.
Right, but it
it's
does
just a
mention
note,
the
it says
barn.
barn,
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
and we had a similar issue at the last meeting. There was a house that was listed, and there was a shed. It was just a notation on
Yeah.
the necklace listing, so that's why it's on the historical. Yeah, but Bill and I didn't think it was historically significant.
And if Bill didn't fight for even the foundation or anything, that's.
Yeah, yeah. So, there are no other comments? I'd entertain a motion.
I make a motion to approve the demolition permit.
I second.
Okay, let's do a roll call vote. Ward?
Aye.
Say your name and I.
I'm sorry. Ward Mooney, aye.
Beverly Shook, aye.
Deborah Chialfi, aye.
Garrett Stuck, aye.
Catherine Reppert, aye.
Caroline Boulder, aye.
Okay,
Thank
you're
Thank you
approved.
very much. All right, thanks.
And so we'll give something to the building inspector.
We'll do the demolition permit for you to the building department, and I can send you a copy if you want a copy.
Oh.
We have the building department.
Eventually, I'll get it. I still have to do other paperwork before I actually pick up the demolition permit.
Yeah.
So, but
Okay,
I'll
so it'll be
take-
at the building department
Okay.
tomorrow.
Oh, all right. Thank you guys very much.
We don't have to sign numbers, right?
No, but thank you for checking.
We always forget.
Okay, next item is 1985D Main Road. This is in the Historic District, so we will have a public hearing. Sorry, I'm reading the wrong section. 1824 Main Road is in the Historic District, and this will be a public hearing.
Hi,
Hi.
I'm Richard Moore, 1824 Main Road. Just want to build a 12 by 16,
I'm sorry, did you say Malar?
M-A-L-A-B-R-E. Malabry is the spelling. It's either misspelled or mispronounced, whichever you prefer. So 9 years ago, we replaced a tin shed that was rusty and the plastic stuff was broken, and that was approved by the commission. And I'd like to build a very similar 12 by 16 shed on the property. So that will give us extra storage space, and the goal is described in the application is to have it look the same, so it'll be the same, it's made by the same company, same fittings in terms of the asphalt color for the shingles on the roof and all that. The one difference is I'm going to turn it perpendicular to the other shed because we have a row of cedar trees on that side, and we can tuck it in between the cedar trees and not have to cut down any trees. And that, if you've driven by and you've seen the current shed, it's kind of hidden behind the cedar trees, so it doesn't stand out very much. And the other reason for this location, it avoids putting it on top of the leaching field for the septic, which is lower down the hill. So it's trying to balance the trees and the septic and keep it less obvious by not having it out away from the trees.
And what is the shed? Is the shed that you provided here,
Yes.
is this the one that you are proposing? This
Yeah, the only
exact one?
difference is we're not gonna put the shutters on it. The current one doesn't have shutters and,
So it'd be just the windows without the shutters?
correct, so,
This
so from,
configuration?
yeah, when you look at it from the street, you would see the windows facing the street and then the doors pointing towards my house. So,
And with the windows over on top of the door,
Yes,
the entrance there.
Transom.
the transom windows there.
Okay, I'd like to open this up for a public hearing. Are there anyone in the audience who would like to comment on this proposal? No. Okay. Discussion.
Can you review the materials for the proposed shed and how it compares to the existing shed
Oh, sure.
and the size,
It's identical size, so they're both 12 by 16,
12 by 16?
which I think is kind of the biggest you can do without a building permit, because
Yeah.
it's under 200 square feet.
Right.
And so it's the same footprint, but as I said earlier, turned perpendicular, so it'll fit between the cedar trees on either side.
So this would be seen from the street?
That would be seen from the street without the shutters.
Set back, though?
Yeah, yeah, oh,
Back
yeah,
behind the house.
it's set back,
Near the wall.
yeah, so there's a stone wall that runs between me and the neighbor. We'd be about 16 feet from that wall. There'd be trees on either side of it. And then, let's see, I'm assuming I can get virtually the same roof shingles. I have the receipt from the first time they were black. I'm assuming the current black versions will be close in color. Certainly that's the intent.
So there'll be like two little twin sheds?
Yes.
Under the trees?
That's right.
With the windows oriented the same way?
Exactly. So from the street, you'll see the windows of this
The
shed,
newer shed?
the newer shed, and if you were at a different angle, you'd see some windows from the other shed too.
Right.
So, and not planning to paint it, so it'll look.
So it'll gray out?
Whether it'll gray out exactly the same way. That's certainly my hope. And then the other piece is on the shape of it, it's very similar to our house. So it's a pretty basic house if you've seen it. And just, I feel like it kind of works well and don't have to cut down trees, which I'd rather not do, so.
Did you consider a metal roof at all?
No,
No?
no. I mean, partially because this is literally a match for the other one. And I just thought being compatible with the rest of the property made sense.
I just think they look nice.
Yeah,
So.
I was looking for compatibility and similar looks, so.
Seems reasonable.
My concern is with the location of the shed. So I drove up and down Main Road today looking at other sheds, and there are a lot of properties that have sheds, but I didn't find a single one where the shed was actually closer to the road than the house. And I think this actually would have a significant impact on the streetscape in that, not only your house, but the house just to the south of it. It'll just be very, very present in the streetscape. And so I'm wondering, whether there's some possibility of moving it further back. Could you put it next to the other shed in the back?
So I think it would be hard to fit it in given where the cedar trees are, and there's an exposed boulder near them, and then there's the leaching field. And so that was kind of my concern, because I did think about that. It's a little bit further back than the house, but it's, a few feet. It's not 30 feet.
Right.
and certainly considered that.
Yeah, I mean, you included some nice pictures of other sheds, and, you can see in all those cases, the sheds, garages are set well back from the main house. I mean, I think this picture, 1832 Main Road, neighbor to the south, that's the one where you could best imagine the shed. So the shed would be right in that clump of trees. Is that correct?
It would be, there's actually,
I think there's one trunk that would be
Yeah,
between
it's-
it
it's,
and the road.
there's a tree at the corner here
Uh-huh.
that's the one you see from the other picture. Then there's another big cedar, so it would be two big trees from the road.
I see.
Do you have it staked out where the pad is going to be?
Yes,
You do?
yeah, that's
Okay.
where I put those posts, the snowplow marker type
Mhm.
sticks.
Okay, so there are two large trees there, and you're saying it would be behind both of those trees?
Yes,
Oh,
it would
okay.
be
Okay.
away from the road behind those two.
And those are evergreen trees?
Yes, yeah, they're cedars, they're always green.
The front painted or?
I'm grateful for that, because it'd be a lot of, if they weren't, there'd be a lot of raking every fall on that side.
But it obscures the shed too.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not supposed to consider vegetation, but.
No, I mean, if you look at the other shed, that's a 12 by 16 shed.
So this isn't your house, this
No,
No, that's the
1924.
neighbor.
no, that's the neighbor.
That's the neighbor, okay.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of pictures of the neighbor.
Yeah, just to show.
Well, because I know you like to see that, that's my house.
Okay.
So his shed would be to the right of this,
Yeah,
tucked in the yard.
Do you have pictures?
and the good news is with the trees, as you can see, this shed is pretty hard
Yeah.
to see.
Yeah, and I guess there
Yeah,
are
but we can't.
I
two
understand that.
big
Yeah, we're not
trees
supposed
here.
to consider vegetation, but those are
I thought
mature
it was going
trees.
to go
They
between those,
do
but it's actually.
provide a
Yeah.
lot of screening.
Has a similar dimensions, actually, of this house in some ways for the front of it, but it's just gonna.
Any other thoughts? I mean, it is farther back than I thought when I looked at it.
Yeah, I think if it was right on the road, I think I'd have more reservations, but if it is
Yeah.
set back, do you know the distance it's gonna be set back by? Do you have
It's,
that on the
I've got it
front?
marked.
34 feet?
34
It's
feet.
34 feet from the stone wall, I believe, yeah,
From
And
the
on-
stone wall on Main Road.
on Main
On
Road,
Main
yeah,
Road.
Oh, okay.
How far back is the house set?
31.
So it's not
So it's
jutting
not
out in
a
front of the house, that it is
No, it's a
like-
little bit behind, yeah.
And that's the max you can push it?
I might be able to, when they get there, might be able to squeeze it a little bit, like a foot further down the hill.
That would be preferable.
If you trim up if you trim up this tree,
Limit up.
Yeah,
could you move it back?
if that made people happy, I'd be happy to figure out how to scoot it another 12 to 24 inches down the hill. You know, and
Way back.
Yeah, I think that would be,
The further back you can tuck it would be
Yeah,
more
okay.
preferable.
We'll make it work. I've got the loppers I need. We can pull that off, so.
Yeah, it'd be good to tuck it
Yeah.
deeper into the site,
yeah.
because it's a very visible site, it's right on Main Road.
No, I know that.
I'll have to pay attention when we drive by.
I mean, those trees, it's good that those trees are there, because they do provide a lot of screening, but we're not supposed to consider
I know, we
trees
don't
down.
have
But they exist, and you're not taking any trees down.
I'm not planning on it, no. I would rather not.
Okay, I mean, I think if you're willing to move it back another 2 feet, I think that
Sign me
would-
up for it.
Yeah, that would satisfy me. Anybody else?
I think that's a good change.
Okay, do I hear a motion?
I move that we accept it with the 1 to 2 foot setback, or do you want to be more deliberate about it?
I would prefer 2.
2,
I'm fine with 2.
You're fine with 2, okay, with 2-foot setback from.
From the
From what, yeah.
from the
Yeah.
proposed.
I second that motion.
Okay, let's do a roll call vote. Ward?
Ward Mooney, aye.
Beverly Shook, aye.
Deborah Chialfi, aye.
Garrett Stuck, aye.
Catherine Reppert, aye.
Caroline Boulder, aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'm gonna make a note on this, we need monitors for this. right?
I'll be a monitor.
Okay, so wanna do that with me, okay, so you, both of us are your monitors? I don't know, do you want to
Sorry,
be left out?
you can go be your two. I don't want to jump in and
There could be 3
I
monitors.
like jumping in.
it just gives me a chance to go for a walk that part of the road with you.
So, I'll give you our phone numbers, and then you can call us when it's about to be
Yep.
constructed, and then maybe we could do a quick site visit on those stakes where you're gonna be putting,
Yeah. And I won't touch them for now. But I haven't even ordered the shed, obviously.
No, I know.
I wanted to
It
get
takes
permission,
weeks
so
anyway.
this is not gonna be,
Is it a kit you put together yourself?
no,
Takes
I
it
call
from
Reed's,
site.
I would call Reed's Ferry
And they
Shed, and
deliver
then
it.
they come.
they bring it in.
Yeah. And I just don't know what their backlog is, but I'll call them, order it.
It's a while to
Yeah.
get them, but if we
That's
could
fine.
just get a sense of where you're gonna put it, and
Yep.
then call us when the shed is gonna be delivered.
Perfect.
So I'll give
Okay.
you our numbers. I think I have your email.
And
It's
you,
on the
Yeah,
application.
so I can email that to you.
Okay, great.
you said that you weren't gonna paint it.
No, it's gonna look,
It's
The
gonna
front,
So,
the
I
front
think-
door is white, or
Yeah.
painted white, but then
yeah,
the
they
rest
come
of it-
that color, but the rest will be
Natural.
natural and it will weather just as the other one did, is my
So
assumption.
I'm not sure that's mentioned in the application, so I think we'll
We should
add
refine
it.
that.
Yeah, yeah,
To say it's unpainted, yeah,
Unpainted.
that's fine.
Natural.
okay.
All right, I'll make a note of that.
I think if you want, it does say siding color cedar and it is natural cedar,
Okay,
so.
okay, we'll just be
I-
explicit. and-
But if you want to be explicit, that's
Yeah.
perfectly
Yeah.
fine, because I definitely don't want to paint it.
Yeah, no, you.
One less thing to maintain. Thank you.
Okay, great, thanks.
Okay,
Okay,
thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next item, preliminary reviews, Westport Point United Methodist Church, improvements to Howland Hall at the rear of the church.
I have 4 copies of this. For the record, I'm Kip Wise, architect here in Westport, and with me is Buzz Brownlee, who's the representing the church.
Did you say Buzz Brown?
Brownlee, like the color brown and elk.
Thank you.
They never did the windows, did they? They never did the
The
windows.
windows done.
They did?
Yeah, quality, yeah, master quality.
Oh, that was quite a while ago.
We're not planning on making it any cooler in there, I hope, for square dancing, that we keep it nice and warm in Howland Hall, because it is a wonderful tradition to just be totally sweaty on Saturday nights in August.
There's an update we like to do here.
Oh,
I'm having a step away.
I'll reserve my comments.
4 copies of this, if you can share them around. Go.
Thank you.
So, this is the United Methodist Church up on Main Road, right where Drift Road comes in at right angles. And what we're talking about here principally is the Howland Hall Annex building behind the church itself. The first thing is that the building needs lots of maintenance work. It needs new windows, it needs new shingles, and so that's the first part of the project. The second part of the project is to provide better access to the building. The church has done a really good job over the years of making all parts of the building accessible for handicapped people, but you can't get from one part of the church to Howland Hall without going outside and going back in again. So the challenge that I was given was to find a way to create an entrance and a system that would make the whole building accessible within the building itself. And I have done that by proposing if I can go over here's the existing elevation of Howland Hall with these not very attractive awning windows. And this entry in the center with this very imposing big concrete stair hanging out of the front of it, which apparently nobody likes using. And what we're proposing is, one, in repairing the side of the building, putting in new windows. There would be double hung windows, matching very similar windows that are in the basement of the church itself over in the back here. And then putting a small addition projecting out from Howland Hall that would include an interior stair that would replace a long outside concrete stair and a small chairlift. And that addition and some revisions inside the building will make it with. There's presently a stair. There's a stair in this link right here, and by revising that stair, altering some floors for some slight ramp work, we're going to be able to make the entire building accessible from the inside. So you can get to the church, to Howland Hall without having to go outside if you're in a wheelchair or in a walker or something like that. In addition, we're proposing to the support facilities for Howland Hall now are at this end, at the east end of the building. There's a kitchen and bathrooms here. And we're hoping to develop Howland Hall as a more usable community space for the whole community. And also as a space that the church might be able to rent out for weddings and that kind of thing. So we're proposing to move the kitchen space from here to this end of the building. So the kitchen would be back in here, and that will free up the east elevation of Howland Hall and get rid of this really horrible elevation with all these little nasty windows and make something more attractive to look at from the Drift Road side.
And from inside.
And it will also create a space for light coming in from three sides. So that's basically what we're looking at doing. It's going to be a long process of budgeting this and estimating the costs and trying to find sources to raise money to do it. But we wanted you to see this to see if you felt we were going in the right direction with it.
If I could underscore a little bit of the need for this. The Howland Hall, you can see, has two levels. Top level is largely an open hall with its kitchens and bathrooms and a really modest kitchen in the east end. The lower level is half a dozen rooms. The pastor's office, the secretary's office, and some meeting rooms for smaller meetings. The problem right now is a bunch of us at church, I'm one of the members, to get to Howland Hall, you have to go out the front door on the main road, travel down Main Road, go down Drift Road, and then into the accessible entrance.
That's going from here all the way down around here, all the way to the end of the building, and it's in this way.
And you go into that accessible entrance.
Seems a little cumbersome.
It is very cumbersome.
Very cumbersome and dangerous because there's no sidewalk and you're on a public way there. And if somebody in a wheelchair or a walker or whatever, who wants to venture.
Just last night, I had, the chicken and egg problem of trying to get my stroller with my 6-month-old up and down the stairs with my disabled child who is eager to walk but is unable to, having to have her wait at the top of the stairs and hopefully not hold on to the stroller as I was trying to carry it down the stairs to get out Howland Hall. So I think that, the need it was clear to me last night, it's clear to me for a while, that the current access being via those very sort of steep concrete stairs is insufficient.
It's a serious issue. And we often
They are ugly.
We often have meetings following the service, either a small committee meeting in the lower level, one of the rooms in the lower level, in which case somebody with a disability or mobility impairment would have to come out or wait in the front of the building and go up if they're going to a large meeting upstairs, go all the way around to the east end of the building to get into the building.
And does this new design allow you to go to the lower floor as well? Interior?
It would allow you to enter from the Drift Road side.
So
Up to the second
I can
floor,
explain,
or down to the first.
explain on this plan, stay up here.
I need an extra magnet.
Not just for safety, but also if there was some way of, you know, a money-making kind of thing with a more enlarged and open hall, you could have card night there, you could have all sorts of possibilities to raise some money for the church.
So the way this new entry works here, as it projects out from Howard Hall, is that you enter from the street on a pretty level sidewalk. Enter here, and you can come up about 8 steps to get to what is essentially the first floor of the whole building. There's also a lift here, so that anybody in a wheelchair can come up a half level to the main level here. That lift also goes down to the basement
Okay.
and provides equivalent access. And presently, there's a very little narrow stair right here that you go down and have to duck to get down to the basement of the church or over to the half level over here. And the floors of the 2 buildings are pretty close in elevation. This floor and this floor are about 14 inches apart. And we can achieve that with a handicap accessible ramp going from the church down to this hallway. So this is a very easy walk or roll in a wheelchair to get from here into the Howland Hall. And by having the kitchen here, the kitchen will be much more accessible for after service teas and
Coffee,
that kind of
we
thing,
have on Sundays.
or coffee. And it works equivalently at the lower level, uniting both the basement rooms under Howland Hall and the basement of the church itself.
Get that ramp from the narthex to, down to Howland Hall looks pretty narrow, is that?
It meets code by, well, it misses code by half an inch.
What is the width?
The width is 30, between the railings, it's 35.5 inches. Code requires 36 inches. And I don't think that the architectural access board would have much of a problem with that, considering we're proposing to provide all this much better access for the whole building.
And what about navigating those doors at the end of that ramp? Is that, I mean, it seems a little tight as well.
No,
there's
there's
one
plenty, it all meets code for handicap
Okay.
accessibility.
There's swing doors?
There's swing doors, yeah.
Well, I mean, I think what you're doing is, I think it's attractive. It's going to improve the usefulness of the building.
And it's a big improvement over this.
Yes,
What kind of money are you looking to raise?
Yes.
we don't really have any
East
idea yet.
elevation is nice.
This little connector thing here is going to involve revising those interior concrete stairs and the link between the 2 buildings. This could take a lot of demolition. The new thing is going to take a lot of construction. I've got to develop the drawings a little bit further. RP Valois has put their hand up and volunteered to do some budget estimating for us. We'll find out one of these days how much.
The first step though is to get the idea, and we can agree on the idea, which the church is very enthusiastic about.
Yeah.
Because getting from the church to the hall, either level, is such an adventure right now.
Yeah, this is definitely an improvement.
Amen.
The spot where the cement stairs used to be in the new conceptual drawing.
That's this right here, so there's presently a door here.
Yeah.
We replace it with a pair of windows matching the others. Unfortunately, because of partitions in the basement down here, it's not possible to put a matching window underneath it.
That's okay.
But it doesn't seem tragic to me.
No.
Does the church have a budget that encompasses this project?
No.
I'm sorry.
Does the church have a budget, financial plan? No.
Not yet. We're just trying to get the concept on board, if you will. And I think we have the church, and then we need you folks. And then Kit can approach somebody to get some estimates, and we'll know what we're raising.
And I understand there's a possibility of CPA money if it's being used as a
Variety of
community
possibilities.
center.
We're
Yeah.
going to be exploring them all,
Right.
believe me.
There's a kitchen under the church currently, right?
There is, yes.
Yes.
And so we're introducing,
Well, there
so,
are two kitchens in the building now, one underneath the church
yep,
and one at the east end of Howland
Howland
Hall.
Hall, yep.
And we're simply proposing to move the kitchen from the east end to the west end of Howland Hall and have a newer, modern, more accessible kitchen that'll be available on the first floor.
So do we need to have two kitchens, or are there things that we could do to renovate the kitchen under the church? And then you wouldn't need you'd eliminate that expense and maybe.
All of those will have to be taken under consideration, and it may be a phased project. But one of the objectives will be to improve Howland Hall itself as early as possible to make it more attractive and more usable. So we'll see.
Yeah, I guess I'm just wondering if you didn't have to deal with the kitchen, if that would give you a little bit more space to handle what you need to handle for accessibility.
Yeah, I think we've solved the accessibility problems as it is. Unless there's an objection to the little extension that we're proposing on the side of the building. But I actually think it modulates the
stairs.
it gets rid of the stairs, it modulates the long elevation of Howland Hall.
Yeah, I think
And
it's,
a nice
creates a
matching,
little tie-in between
okay.
the architectural styles of the two buildings too.
so the roof is the same pitch as the
The roof is the
Roof is
same
a
pitch as a church,
right.
which is a 12-pitch roof.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's harmonious.
Okay?
I think it's a good solution. It looks attractive, it's congruent with we have only purview of the exterior, obviously.
Yeah.
How you do the kitchen is up to you, but it's really, I think it will solve your problem with those terrible stairs that are there now, and
Yeah.
have the ability to get inside for the whole
And
facility.
the east elevation.
I think it
So
looks-
as
the
a
east
CPA,
elevation's
this is just a
beautiful.
program
Yeah, it looks
review.
much
It
better.
doesn't need
We don't
I think it's a
This
good
is-
solution, in my opinion.
I do as well.
That's good.
Let's see, any changes to the north side?
To the north side, well, the north side would, I didn't illustrate that, the north side would get rid of its crummy awning windows and have similar windows to these put into.
And then
Uh,
maintain the
and
access,
And
the
maintain that,
emergency exit,
it's got a concrete stair on that side too, but it's really not visible.
just
from
for
anywhere.
safety, the
Yeah,
secondary
it's
exit.
needed there for egress, yes.
I think it's a big improvement.
Any other
have
comments?
to vote on
We don't have to vote, this is just a
No, we're
preliminary.
just getting-
Just getting an idea.
We're getting the idea, and it seems that we're probably going in the right direction with it.
I think so, yeah. So, I mean, are there any changes that people would like to see? Because we should probably air those now. I mean, not that we're bound by it, but anyway, it sounds like you're on the right track and.
Good.
Be a big improvement.
Well,
Yeah.
Do we
Thank-
open this up for public comment, or no?
No, it's not a public hearing. I mean, if someone wants to comment, sure. Yeah,
Actually, there are three things, now, come on.
Sure.
please.
Right
yeah.
now, there are three things about this that I really like. And I'll just put it.
And one that you don't?
12 of each.
Thank you.
So you, Grog Knoll, do you know, you have his
Gregory-
name?
Gregory
Knoll?
I did you.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Just want to make sure.
What I really like the fact that this thing got moved over here, and also that Kit picked up the pitch of the roof to mirror this. I think he did that. But what it does is it really intensifies this area here, where there's a lot going on. So it's very appropriate that this little guy, which next to this, that all this is happening here. I lived around the corner from this thing for 25 years, and I've always wanted to take this much of the roof off. Seriously, so you could get more light and see more of that beautiful gable. I thought that was always the great flaw in the initial construction of Howland Hall. So there's a way that, because of the programming here, you don't need all this roof. It might be interesting to see if there was a way to separate the two large spaces from each other, just a sketch
Open up
model.
this space.
And I really like that these windows now come around, as opposed to the earlier ones, a little like
The bathroom ones.
the nunnery windows. But this here now, this now feels like a communal space. So it's got the big windows all around it, it feels like a place for gathering. And the only thing I would like to add, I don't know if it's how, but there's a way to do it, would be, I wonder if there's room up here for something different than these that would be a little more ecclesiastic or something, like maybe the one place on the point where we could have a round window or get a stained glass
Stained glass.
thing in there.
Here's
Where's the ceiling?
Here's the problem. This is framed with scissor trusses, so that the ceiling line actually comes up like this.
That's always a problem.
Okay, so there's not really much room to go much higher than that.
Just a thought.
And it's supposed to be a community space, maybe it doesn't need to be that.
That's a good point, yeah. Yeah, just because these things are, I thought if there's any, because these are so beautiful.
Yes, they
Yeah.
But I think that it's a vast improvement from a compliment to the
Anyone else from the audience have a comment? Okay.
We like what we see.
Thank you, Dustin.
Okay, next item of business, 1985D Main Road, preliminary review, removal of one fireplace original to the house, and either the reconstruction of or removal of a second fireplace located in the addition off to the south side. Hello? Hello.
Greg Knoll, studio at 1907 Drift Road, which I do take a office in the home legal tax deduction for. And I'd like to introduce two new members of our community,
Good.
Gene Siegel and Tom Trainer. These are all your neighbors.
Yeah.
As well as Katrina.
Say Tom Trainer.
Yes, like personal trainer. So,
Anyway, and this was originally a project I did about 12, 13 years ago for Brenna Bounds and Peter Kelsey. And they've sold it to our new neighbors. And this is the model from the initial hearing. And you pass it around.
Still have it from
I
12
love that
years
you have,
ago.
I love you have the ledge accurately reflected. Who knew there's ledge on
That's a
Westwood
very
Point?
smart woman lawyer a long time ago told me once, save everything.
It's never bad.
Can't say the same for the men I've known. But anyway, so that's the model. And I also want to put it in a little context. I think you'll be able to see these. These are just some old pictures from, oh, welcome to the commission.
Oh, thank you very much.
Hey, Rod, what about me?
Cat can do.
When was the house built?
The original building?
The original building.
Original building around 47, 48?
38.
Oh, 38.
Right after hurricane.
A hurricane.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow,
Great time.
that was an important year.
That explains the heatolator, because the ads were in all the magazines.
Right.
Like,
It was new.
in that period, it was the biggest, new, the latest thing.
And then it was redone 12, 15 years ago. Great project, a series of projects.
Yeah, this was it,
And,
yes.
It's
right, most, it's only visible during
Yeah, yeah.
It's on the west side of the street? Must be.
It's on the west side of the street,
Do you
and
know where-
it's only
Carolyn,
visible.
you know where the Valentine Carriage House is?
Yeah.
So you go between the two buildings, past Betsy's and the Carriage House, and then you take a right, and then down
Yeah,
to the
so it's
water.
down there.
Yeah, right at the very end. So
I
this-
know Jacobson Sibb well.
Yeah, so this is basically the water right here. You guys can pass that off.
It's only visible, the only right of way is visible from it.
So the house just to the north is this house. That's two houses. It's supposed to be one.
To the north, okay.
Yeah, so it's just up the coast, just one lot. This is the Kelsey's house before we did anything to it. This is a house that's the next one south from what this one was.
Mhm.
This, I think, is Joya's house, the bottom of Valentine Lane.
Yeah.
And this is this one. And then a little further down, this was the Moody's house. And this is Betty Slade's house here, behind there. So those are pretty much the buildings that are on the waterfront on that side. And we've just started having a discussion about things that Tom and Jean would like to do. And the first thing was, you all got all the stuff,
Yeah.
pictures and everything. So it's been basically the fireplace.
Yeah.
And the only reason about the fireplace is because that connects to the chimneys, which are under your purview. And so the initial and I'll let Tom and Jean speak to them in a minute, but we want to get rid of this one, and we have no idea what we're going to do with this one yet. But you can tell them what they are.
Yeah, so the original house is this part here. This was added 12 years ago. So the original house has this chimney, which is, at the bottom of that is this heatilator fireplace. Heatilators, if you're not familiar with them, they're actually the core of it's made at factory, and then it's surrounded with masonry by a mason who doesn't have to have the skills of building a fireplace. So a lot of times, and this one shows it, it's a big box around the heatilator, rather than a decorative, more architecturally attractive fireplace. So this is like a big box that sits out in the room, takes up a lot of the space in the room, and of course the house has central heating, so there's no function for it anymore, and it takes up so much of the room that we'd like to get rid of it. So it's the chimney would be maintained from the second level up, so that from the outside you wouldn't see any difference.
So our proposal is, I mean, this thing is humongous. It's wider than my arms. And it's like this high and it comes out of the wall like this, just dominates the room. So if that one comes down, because the original building had a chimney, that Masons say it's easier to just take it down and reconstruct it like for like than try to prop it up and wrestle with it. So that would be our proposal to do with that one. So we would always have that facade and that thing with the little chimney popped up. The one I don't have a picture, but you have photographs somewhere of that Tom took of the building as it exists now.
I have
And-
this one.
Yeah.
We have that.
Yeah, so you can actually, that photo is if you were looking at the building just like this, and you saw the front of the house, the chimney, and then this one back here. So, we're in discussion, we don't know where we're going with it yet, but to help us along, we want to get a reading from the commission is how, if we wanted to get rid of the fireplace in here is 3 times the size of this one. It's this there's also,
This one here.
Isn't the fireplace in that, from a
in your,
interior perspective, it's like a feature?
there are
right?
elevations
It's
that
like-
I sent, and if you could pull up the,
That's a small one.
That's the big one.
So the,
what would be the south elevation of the building.
Mhm.
in the original structure, the ventilator fireplace,
This one
the
here,
one we're
this
talking about,
chimney
this
you're
big box.
So
So
Can
that
you
one
pull up
just
the
takes a
south
lot.
elevation
The
in
second
the drawing?
fireplace, we've started we've touched on the second fireplace, we can, we'll talk about that briefly. So that's in a dining room. It is very well constructed, it was part of the development that was done 12 years ago. It's a nice fireplace. It belongs in a hunting lodge, like with a massive room.
Is that one?
It is really large, and not large, ugly like the other one, but large, attractive. It just, it also overwhelms the room. The people that built it, they really wanted a hunting lodge feel in their room. It's clear, and so it really overtakes the room. It's just out of scale for what the space that it offers. So
Familiar with the Ames Gatehouse, northeastern Mass, H.H. Richardson building,
They're all.
made out of
those are
basically
massive.
boulders, so it looks like it belongs there.
Yeah.
I mean, beautifully crafted, but it's immense. And if you
This is the
all
one-
see the
this-
elevation
yeah, this is the one
that
you're
Deborah has,
looking
you
at
can
now.
see that
This
that
is the
wall
south
is just completely blank because
Blank.
it's
Because you can't put
completely
anything else on it. It's a
covered
novel.
with
It's
that
not-
thing.
I think the room is 13 feet wide, so there's probably, I don't know, maybe it's 14 inches on each side. That's how much of the room is occupied by that part.
So you want to take it out and put windows in there, or do
Yeah,
This is-
yeah.
Go ahead.
One in our discussions, initially before that thing got built, I had envisioned a much smaller fireplace with the usual place to put stuff on the side, and maybe a mantle, and then shelves to put things on, but I wanted windows on either side to let a lot of light in, so you get,
South
because I don't get any
South
light
face.
from the, I'm gonna get one window on the east side, so it's giving us light all around.
So he wants me to-
So right now, the elevation that you see is just this thing with nothing in it.
Yeah, blank wall.
And aside from the chimney, though, you don't have any visibility of the space from the public right of way, do you? I mean, from the right of way, can you see that south face of the house currently from the river?
Well, you could if the trees were down.
Oh,
The trees.
you can't.
The trees.
So you wouldn't see it face on.
But you-
Remember the trees.
Trees.
Trees don't matter.
Yeah, trees don't matter.
Yeah.
Trees don't matter.
And so what exactly are you proposing for the second chimney?
We don't know yet, but we'd probably like to get rid of that chimney and do something to bring light into the building. But we can't even think about anything until, that's why I requested a prelim to kind of
Yeah, so
see
you just
how you
want-
felt about that particular chimney.
Grog's original plans show a much reduced fireplace for that room that would fit that room and allow the windows. But there's also potential of, it would be lovely to have, a number of small windows there and some furniture on that end of the room. So we're just talking through what those options look like.
And that fireplace, that addition was built in what year?
About 12 years ago,
12 years
the
ago.
addition, all this stuff,
The
all
new
that
wing.
stuff was built.
Okay.
You
That's-
notice it's all quite smaller than the good building. Just meanders around.
It's down.
Yeah.
And what's that smaller building that's partially,
This was a workshop thing that was part of the original plan for the property, for the project. And this was, or something like this, was built maybe 9 years ago, 8 or 9 years ago. I don't know if it
Is that
was,
existing now, or is that?
Yeah.
That is there.
I don't know if it ever got approvals, because I wasn't part of
We can look in the
engineering.
file.
Mhm.
We can
But I
see
did
it.
a full set of drawings for it, and what I drew was not this.
Oh.
And then there's also this horrific thing here from Sheds of Rust. You know, it's a New England salt box, it's like this, you've seen it.
yeah.
Was that, and that wasn't part of the design? that you-
No, it's just, it was brought in, and I don't know if either of those buildings went through review.
Yeah.
Well, we can find that out in the record.
Not that it.
But that's existing conditions now?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah. And there's a building, that really horrible shed, they cut this tree down, and so there's a third shed there,
Oh.
which actually went in before this shed.
So the little one that we see on the model is really a studio. I mean, it's got windows all around, it's all mahogany woodwork in the ceiling, beadboard, it's attractive. They did a good job with that, but it really is designed to be a studio with enormous light in there. It's very pretty. The other one is a tool shed. The one that is not in the model.
Well, this is all more than reasonable. I mean,
Well, that existing shed though, the studio, as you call it,
Yeah.
that would stay. And it,
Yeah,
and it
right,
obscures
and-
that blank wall a bit anyway, right? Or are we talking about the other blank wall?
No, it's this wall.
That's the wall that has
But
the
we can
massive
still,
fire.
with the advent of the sun, we get an
Yeah.
awful lot of light in here, especially in the fall.
Right, but I'm just saying what the public sees, that shed does obscure that elevation
A little bit.
No, it's from public view, it's very easily seen.
Okay, so
from
you
here.
can see.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
So
very much.
would you leave the chimney then for a smaller fireplace, or would you?
We don't know if we wanted to see if you would allow us to take the chimney down, because we don't know if we're gonna build a smaller one. We don't know what we want to do, so we said, we need a prelim
Yeah.
to see you
Provided the
guys.
main house chimney is rebuilt in this similar, in the same identical place, right? If you're gonna remove the giant thing inside of it, but the main house should still have its chimney.
Right.
For sure. What's the feeling on the chimney on the addition? Is that is it architecturally?
Well, I remember a certain Ms. Vesetinsky who gave me permission to take down a chimney in the house. So I don't know if the rules have changed as far as we're concerned about it, but I don't think it's,
That was actually the very second, that was the little skinny chimney on
Yeah.
the side.
Right. Which was the heater,
Yeah.
attached to the heater, yeah.
Whereas you would have had a completely different response if you wanted to take down the big one that everyone sees.
Oh, right, yeah, because
Yeah.
that's on
So
the
I think
outside,
that might be a similar
But I remember
situation.
Chris.
What is the material on the top of the chimney? Is it stone or is it brick?
It's brick,
They're both brick.
They're both brick.
Yeah, you can see
brick
the-
with just a measuring large
the
cap.
little cap on top.
And the rebuild,
That's the main, and that's the big chimney that takes up the whole room.
I haven't talked to Mason, I don't know if you have enough experience with this, but my goal would be to reuse the same bricks. And take it down brick by brick, you preserve the bricks, and we rebuild that chimney to look exactly like it does today.
If you decide to keep the fireplace there.
That's I'm referring to.
But the main
other
house, the one where he wants to take rid of the fireplace entirely and just have it.
Yeah, that would be come down and then rebuilt like for like and try to have Adam Jerome do it.
So why don't we just separate these two issues? So there's the chimney in the main house, which you're proposing to take down, rebuild essentially as is.
Yeah.
Um,
That's when we
Anybody?
eliminate the heatilator
Right.
and the whole stack, which
And-
takes up a lot of space on the
And the
second
type
floor.
of brick in that chimney, is it, because the house was 1938, the size of brick?
That
Is
brick, I think that chimney was actually,
Old,
do you know,
reused.
was it rebuilt 12 years ago? With new.
Oh, the stack, both chimney stacks are new.
Okay, so I
Yeah.
wasn't sure if they, because sometimes with the dimensions of old brick, if you can't reuse it, it's hard, you can't find the same
Yeah.
sort of skinny old brick style depending on what brick is. I
Yeah,
can't,
to be clear, actually, if you look at the.
You can
old-
take a little closer look at the
Yeah.
bricks now. I mean, it's attractive.
The legacy photos show a slightly different shape of the fireplace, so that's our indicator that they rebuilt it.
it does look like original bricks that were used when it was rebuilt.
I think a lot of fireplaces at the point have been rebuilt because they were struck by lightning.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Same thing, they reused the.
Well, the one in your house,
Well,
yeah.
you have
Yeah, the
to
one in
get-
my house, I have a picture of my house from, 80 years
Picture of Neil Watson
Those-
with his cane.
It's like
Well, that was destroyed at least
Is it
once.
struck by
Yeah.
lightning?
Huh?
Is it struck by lightning?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the one across
Yeah.
the street?
Yeah.
That's like our house still has
Is
the
there a
lightning
saying
on
about
it.
that?
And Mr. Branca says his house was struck by lightning too.
God.
They've got, but
Someone went on
you
like,
have lightning
I've got
rods
lightning
all
rods
along the
there. I
road.
sure did.
Several sources of that lightning.
Okay, so, any objections to, I mean, we're not approving you now, but, I mean, just trying to see if it's,
indication
yeah,
of-
any preliminary
I need
review.
to see what your masons tell you but I think it's a great idea to, if you can rebuild in, whatever interior structure, so that there still is in the main house, that chimney is incredibly important for the main property. Personally, I have no attachment to the giant hunting lodge.
So, we would want to see, yeah, we would want to see, sample of the brick and mortar that you're going to use to rebuild that. But other than that, it sounds like
What's your intention to save the bricks?
Yeah, that brick that we would show you will come off the current.
Yeah, we'll just bring what we take down.
Yeah.
And we will, at the time we come in with an application, we will be prepared as part of that to document the main chimney photographically, so when it's all done, you can see that we've done a lot.
Replaced it, yeah.
And a cap, what are you thinking, are you going to cap it, or? The chimney.
The
Yeah.
restructure,
Yeah.
reconstruction.
The rebuilding.
I think that's a question for Mason. Again, we're trying to match the
Right.
appearance of it, and we don't want water to come down here.
Right, right.
But it
You know,
won't-
that's actually a
it
good
won't be
question, I
solid.
had not thought about that.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
will not be solid.
Typically, it's
We know that we're
slate
gonna
cap
build
on
a
top.
platform
That's what a lot of people
up
are
in
doing.
the attic to
structure it.
support it.
There's a
Yeah.
number, already on the point, there's a number of slate caps that are already in use. I think
Okay, that's good to know.
But
that,
just look
you
in terms of,
It's a good thing to, I mean, we'll want an answer to that question when you come back.
Yeah, but
Okay,
it's
so
got
that's-
a, it's got a through pan and everything, and then we'll let the mason see how he wants to cap it, or if he wants to reinforce the through pan and put weep holes.
Right.
But it'd be better just to top it off.
Yeah, and we would not be in favor of a big shiny stainless steel cap.
Yeah,
No, it would be masonry, or a cap, we'll figure out something.
Okay,
so
so
that's the main one. Now let's move
yeah.
on to the other
To the-
large
to
one
the
that's in the back.
hunting lodge, how do people
Hunting
feel about
lodge
that?
chimney.
You
So,
felt this way? Caroline?
What was the question?
what's your perspective on either taking down the chimney or modifying the back, the second addition?
The large
to
chimney.
Well, I'm very partial to fireplaces. So I would say if you have a chimney, if it's out of scale for the room, but have a fireplace in your living or dining room, I think sounds charming. I mean, I really,
Well, this chimney's oversized though, that's the issue. You don't need it quite that big. if you want.
Fireplace and the chimney. are
And the
oversized.
chimney, so they're both oversized. So if you proposed to make that chimney more in proportion to the main house chimney,
Mhm.
is that something you would consider doing, so it'd be a smaller
And I think
chimney?
that- I think
It's
that-
not so much that, it's not the chimney so much, it's if we decide that what we want is a much smaller fireplace or something like, like a Vermont castings thing on
Mhm.
it, something like freestanding that's much smaller, then obviously the chimney that we're gonna put up is gonna be smaller than the one that's there.
Why can't you keep the chimney and just whatever you do with the fireplace, what does it
No, because the
matter?
whole
Well, it's
fireplace has
enormous.
to come down, it's massive.
It's enormous. Look at the difference in the size, the scale of
Yeah.
that to that.
It's also a lot of work you would have to support that while the fireplace is taken out from under it, which is very risky for the.
Yeah.
Right, we don't know if we even want a fireplace, and because it's not something that's been in the house for 150 years.
It's massive compared to that.
So
We wanted to get a reading, if it went away, would it be the end of the world for this little house at the end of the road?
Well,
You said something earlier about maybe if you took the fireplace out, maybe putting in windows. Is that, did I understand that correctly?
that was.
Oh, we
on
want to
the
get light
elevation.
in there, absolutely.
So basically, we'd be trading a fireplace, or you'd be trading a fireplace for windows.
Yeah, well, and so to be clear, that also that fireplace doesn't appear on the outside, the chimney,
Mhm.
doesn't appear on the outside until it comes out of the roof.
Right.
Yeah, this
So-
is the
Yeah,
elevation.
so the elevation would
Yeah.
gain windows where they are not there today.
Right, and it would lose, yeah, just lose
It's
the.
just a blank wall now, so this
Right.
would have some fenestration that you designed.
Oh, yeah, I
And
mean,
maybe-
guarantee it would be low.
And maybe no chimney, or maybe a smaller chimney.
Yeah.
You don't know yet.
But we just wanted to see if we had no chimney, if that would be okay, because we have several programs that we're trying to
I
run
mean,
in the
is that an
space.
issue to just completely remove a chimney off of an addition that was put in 12 years ago?
Yeah, I don't feel particularly committed to that chimney. I mean, I think the blank wall, to me, is not a very attractive feature. So, I mean, if you took out the chimney and put some windows in there, I think it would actually improve the house.
And this
It's-
chimney was
it's only
put in as
12
part of an
12
addition
12 years
12
old,
years
yeah,
ago,
yeah.
so it's
So-
not really
It doesn't have any
the
historical
original
Yeah,
house anyway.
value.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, personally, I think it's fine to take the chimney out unless there's some prohibition.
Yeah, no, there's
I mean-
no.
But I personally want to take Caroline's point. 'cause
Well,
I'm-
that's
I'm-
your
I'm-
decision.
I'm-
Like,
I'm-
more fire in the
Only
winter.
because I'm there.
You know,
I
but that's your decision about what you want to do
fireplaces.
inside the house, that's not our call.
Yeah.
Just have to get
Put one in your living room.
Yeah, and the chimneys, chimneys do add a lot of character to a house, but, I mean, this is,
They already have one. on the
yeah,
main.
there's one in the main house. This one is shorter than the other one. I mean, it doesn't, it's not really harmonious with,
I mean, my house,
Yeah,
every
it's
time the
really
power
not.
goes out for 7 days, I'm in the basement with the wood stove.
Right.
Have a
Yeah, I
happy
mean,
life.
if you did do a wood stove though, if you did do a wood stove, I think we'd probably not want to see those pipes.
No, we still do
So
chimney.
you want to do a
Yeah.
chimney
We'd wanna see a
and
stove
cover
pipe.
it with,
Yeah.
Yeah,
cover the wood
no, we
stove
still make
pipe.
a transition
And that's
before.
just a sleeve inside the
Yeah.
chimney, yeah.
Yeah.
But a much smaller chimney.
Yeah, well, yeah,
Because
maybe a third smaller
Yeah.
than what's there.
Of course, closer to what you have on the main house.
But I mean, the thing is, we'll take photographs of it when we come back, just so you can see. I mean, it's fabulous for what it is, but we could use some more rock in the site. We have plans for that
Big
stuff.
Big
Big
rocks.
boulders.
Yeah, and some nice pieces of cut stone,
okay, so,
hand cut.
So the windows you're thinking about putting on that facade,
I know there's gonna be glazing of some sort in there.
and they'd be compatible with the existing 6/1 or individual little sixes or
Yeah, but there's
something.
all different sized windows
Yeah.
in here, so depending what happens on the inside,
Right.
there may be 4 light square awnings.
Mm-hmm.
They may be, if we're down low, there may be double hungs, like the main house, we can get down that low.
Yeah,
But we'll find something that is appropriate to whatever we
yeah,
want to.
and there's already a small window on the one, this
Oh, yeah,
guy
there's my
here.
little hallmarks, they're
Yeah,
everywhere.
so,
All my buildings have them.
yeah, so you have a lot to work with.
Yeah.
Okay, do we
Okay.
vote?
we
No,
don't
there's
vote,
no vote,
it's
it's
a
a preliminary review. Yeah, no
Um,
vote.
Yay, we accept it?
But you should, when you're ready, file an application and, we'll take it up.
Thank you. Yeah, I just wanted, because we really couldn't go anywhere without hearing what you all had to say, so thank you.
I just appreciate the willingness and, for you to come forward and do a preliminary review before you really get started in earnest, right? It's much easier to be aligned early on than, start investing all sorts of design ideas and then running it by the committee, and we're in a situation where, it's not gonna fly. So.
And you're in good hands with Grog. He's been before the commission umpteen gazillion times, and I've yet to see a bad design. So,
I'm a bad boy, but never a bad
bad
design.
boy, bad designs.
Be recorded, just so you know.
Okay,
Let the record show.
thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome to
Welcome
the
to
Nice
the
to
neighborhood.
meet you.
Thank you.
Well done.
I'm glad to be here.
Thank you. Yeah. Do you have a dog?
We do have a dog.
Oh, well, then I'll see you.
It's a brown labradoodle.
I walk by the place almost twice a day, so.
What's
really?
what's
Okay, next item on the agenda, general business,
I have a little piece on.
monitors reports.
So I'll see you
Yep,
looking.
thank you.
Thank you, Grog.
Thank you, Grog. I have just one monitor's report on the church. They did their window, I got a call, and they reported it, and I walked by, and it is beautiful. They did a great job. So the window is in that they got approved from us. I'll take a photograph of it and put it into the file.
Okay, great. Any other monitors reports?
Reports from you. Do you have any?
I do not, I don't even know what I'm monitoring.
Okay, we can do the list and go and do another walk around.
Yeah, we can do another
Yeah.
one.
So
I don't think there's a lot of activity.
there's not a lot of activity.
So I have one report on 2038 Main Road. That's the,
The one that's on
The
stilts.
one with the barn
it's
and
it's the one on stilts. Is it the
Seafood
one on
House.
stilts or is it the other
It's
one?
this,
They're redoing both of
2038,
them.
2040, right, those two?
Yeah.
So it's not the one on stilts, it's the one in
I
front
think
of
it's,
the
I think it's the one in front. Anyway, Kidwise sent a message to Bill and me, asking if they could replace a double wide window on the second floor, south facing, with a triple wide. And we looked at it and gave our approval as monitors.
Okay.
Okay,
Do you want to do a note to me on that, and I'll stick it in the file on
Okay.
that,
okay, yeah.
that approved
I'll send,
plan?
I'll forward the email that we
Okay,
sent to
great.
Kidwise.
That's in the addition, like the L,
That's in the,
or on the main. So the 2038 has
Yeah.
the main house, and then has this, what are they doing, they're coming out and all the.
2040 is elevated at
It's
the
on-
moment.
rough scale's wrong, but it's this face,
the
Yes,
south
it
face.
or this?
No, the second floor, yeah, south face on the second floor.
Although it looks like the foundation is dry.
Okay,
I saw a truck come down with a lot of rocks. I wonder if they were putting it.
okay, other business. So one thing that I just wanted to bring up is we've had a couple of cases recently where an application has been withdrawn. And I think we need to have a more specific procedure for that, because, you know, that when somebody, so, yeah, actually, so I sent an email when we were trying to schedule this meeting. I sent an email saying that we had 60 days from the time an application is submitted to hear it. Well, that's actually wrong, so that's what state law says, but the Westport bylaws say we only have 45 days, which is pretty tight, because
When do we meet once a month?
we only meet, yeah, and
We only meet
sometimes,
once a month.
sometimes there are 5 weeks or 35 days between meetings.
Yep.
And so somebody could submit a proposal 10 days before meeting. We need to give notice 14 days in advance, so we wouldn't be able to consider it at the first meeting. And then the second meeting would be 45 days out from the, so, or if they submitted 12 days in advance, we'd actually have to have a special meeting. So that may be something that we need to go to town meeting to try to change at some point.
So are the applications being withdrawn because of that situation?
No, but the point I wanted to make is that when somebody withdraws an application, we need to have written confirmation from them that yes, I'm withdrawing it, the clock has stopped, because otherwise potentially they could come back and say, well, and, like if we just did it on a verbal, if somebody called up and said, hey, I want to withdraw my application, they could conceivably say later, oh, I didn't withdraw it, and we wouldn't have any.
They feel they're going to be here in your time.
Yeah.
Well, Gareth, how did you
Therefore
know
it's-
that they had withdrawn the application?
So we'd have to have a process whereby
Yeah.
the withdrawal is official or noted.
Where
But in
there's-
this case, what did they?
It doesn't matter the particular case. I mean, I just want to make sure going forward that
That we don't do verbal
Yeah,
approvals
yeah.
of withdrawals.
we have a
if they-
written record of a withdrawal.
And so what about just at the scheduled meeting, we discuss any application that's been withdrawn? Because they meet.
Is this appropriateness or non-applicability?
Any application.
Making a lot of work.
Well, it's not a lot of work. No, I mean, it's just, we
But I
have,
would think,
I'm just saying, we just have to have something in
Yeah.
writing. And I think it's something that, like, Deborah and I have to.
if they,
Yeah, just have
and
to
if they
tighten it up.
paid $50, they would get that $50 back, right? If they withdrew?
I don't know if they get refunded.
No,
because
no,
we
in
don't-
fact, yeah, no, because,
No.
I mean, in a lot of cases, we've already spent that $50. So we spent it on the paper, on the advertisement. And so, I mean, this is another thing that I think we could consider is that if I mean, sometimes people don't show up for a meeting. Even that, like they show up and say, oh, we'll consider it at the next meeting. Well, technically, we can't.
Well,
because
they would need a continuance.
they would need to formally notify us
Right.
that they are extending the clock.
It sounds like that we have to go to the town to request for a change.
We can change, yeah, for the 60s. That would help.
60 days.
Right.
Give, so with the.
Yeah, that's just one piece of it though.
And-
The other piece is, if someone puts an application forward, they're committing to actually come to the hearing that we schedule for them.
Right.
And if they choose not to do that, that's gotta be documented.
Yes.
Either with an email
Right.
or
And if-
something,
And if it's not documented, we have to consider whether they're here or not.
whether they're here or not.
So,
Right.
so in other words, yeah, if we put somebody on the meeting schedule and they don't show up, and they haven't given us notice, they haven't released, basically, given us a release from that window, then we have to consider the issue.
Without them here.
Without them here, we
Yes.
have to vote on it, we have to make a decision.
Yep, okay.
And
That's a rule.
I'm not sure we've always been completely tight about that, but just something to think about going forward.
Well, no one's ever used the delay of a hearing to try to get us to issue a certificate.
Right.
Which,
Yet.
that doesn't say,
Yet.
they may yet,
Right.
particular people
Right.
that try to, obfuscate.
But when we vote on that, we could also vote to say, we'll consider this at the next meeting, can we not?
No, because they are entitled by law to a decision within 45 days.
So
And so we have to,
recently with the solar panels, I can't remember the number of the house, we had a site visit on.
there was a continuation, yeah. So there is,
There was a continuation.
there's a process and they sign a form at
They
the
sign
meeting.
the form to continue it. We can't just
Got it.
continue it without
So we
them.
can't continue it on their behalf.
Right.
Right.
They would have to be here. to
That's
continue
right.
it. So if they don't show up,
We
they
have to
can't
make a
help us
decision.
continue it.
Right.
We have to make a decision
Right.
if they don't show up.
Right.
Yeah.
So-
Okay, well, that's just a good reminder.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, the clock is, as
We have to
Deborah,
observe
as
the clock.
Deborah and I know, the clock is complicated. As
Jared, I see
Caroline
the picture
knows.
in front of you. Is that a discussion? item?
Yes, we'll go to that one next.
Good discussion.
So, I don't know if everybody is aware of this building that collapsed.
No.
It's behind the harbor master's office.
Oh.
Leach and Sons.
At the point?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Belongs to Eve Leach, apparently.
Oh,
Oh.
And
When did this happen?
this happened a couple weeks ago.
oh, boy. Betty Slade was just telling me about that. She was afraid this might happen.
And
Yeah, no, I sent her
last-
the picture.
Yeah, there's
Um,
another structure,
Yeah.
the next section over, that also has a rotted pier that could be, in a similar situation.
Yeah. So I talked to Ralph Souza about this. He's the building inspector, and he tried to, he's been trying to get in touch with the owner to no avail. If this building is demolished, it would need a certificate from us. I can't say that there's any, doesn't seem to me there's any real historical significance to this building.
Well, so this is from Brenda.
Uh,
Ralph Sousa's trying to get in touch with Eve Lynch. No luck so far. Many people have tried to get in
Mhm.
touch with her. I sent Rudd a copy of the landing history file a year ago.
mhm.
I hope he still has it.
Hmm.
And, yeah, so that's that.
Okay, so you think there's a history of this building?
Well, yeah, if she sent a file, there must be.
Uh-huh.
Well, certainly the primary leach, Leach and Sons Marina building, but this one is like the shed behind the porta potty, right?
Yeah.
The shed
So
behind
you,
behind the wharf house.
yeah, so it's, I mean,
It was originally George Leach's, right?
yeah.
Does anyone know what that building was used for?
Also,
I have no idea. Does Betty Slade?
it's from Brenda.
She's his widow, apparently. This, whoever this woman is.
Long going.
Does Brenda know much about this building? Did we
Yes.
ask Brenda?
Yeah, absolutely. She was very upset when it fell in, and she's worried about the other buildings, and,
Has the harbor master talked about, infringing on their waterway now, on terms of their dock
Yeah.
space?
I haven't talked to Chris, but apparently apparently he's upset, yeah. But the town is kind of in a tough spot because they can't get in touch with the owner. I suppose they could condemn it and take it down themselves,
If
but
it's a
you know,
safety
that's.
issue, then they have the right to take action.
to condemn it. Yeah, I mean, there would be a
Does the
process
town
and,
have to pay for that?
There'd be a lien against the taxes, which probably
Yeah.
wouldn't pay.
right, yeah.
I think there's a lien anyway, if they
Yeah.
haven't paid taxes.
Right.
Since you could repossess it on that basis, in
Yeah.
tax.
Yeah,
Sure.
that's a good possibility.
And then,
Isn't it?
And
It's
then,
Sean's
you
mom,
know, rich
right?
people will buy it.
Stepmom,
Yeah, and
Give it to Brandon.
Ralph got in touch with Sean, and
Sean, yeah.
Sean couldn't even get in touch with. So, anyway, I just wanted to let you know what's going on, and there is provision for an emergency approval of a demolition permit.
It is a shame that those buildings have been let go for so long.
Yeah.
As
It is,
historically, they are incredibly critical to like the historic nature of the point.
Right.
And to have them, maybe not that building per se,
Mhm.
but the collection of
But the
buildings.
wharf house,
The wharf house.
yeah, absolutely.
Right.
I think-
Agreed.
Yeah,
That's
when they go
a-
to disrepair like
it's a-
that
I
at
think
some
it's a major
point,
item
then
for
they
us.
all get
Yeah, and I'm gonna
raised and who knows what.
I'm gonna do some research into
Put it
into
down.
demolition by neglect, which is basically what's happening here.
Yeah.
And I think there are some things that we could do.
okay,
But just wanted to let you know there may have to be an emergency meeting for a demolition permit, and that would be scheduled on short notice. It doesn't require notice, public notice, and I would try to do it by Zoom.
There's a memorial to George Leach on the point, and somebody keeps putting wreaths
Hmm.
That's
on it.
right.
Who's responsible for doing that?
Good question.
Good
I
question.
think God doesn't send them,
so,
so.
I don't know.
What, as I
I mean-
understand it, isn't Eve Leach, isn't she estranged from his children? Right, there's
I think the daughter is
the
like,
children are present, but the owner of the property is not.
We have everyone scheduled for the August 14th. If we need to use that date, we could possibly put it into that
Yeah,
agenda.
I mean, I even thought about, doing something tonight, but it's not clear, like, I think somebody has to ask for a demolition permit before we can actually,
Yeah, we can't just come up with
Produce
it on
one.
our own, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so, is there anything I can do to?
I think at this point, we're just waiting. I mean, we're waiting for, I think it's in Ralph's hands.
Is it
basically.
Ralph's
Yeah.
next
Yeah.
turn? Okay, all right, so we could do by Zoom if we get.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah. Okay,
All
the last thing I had under general business was just to announce, Betty Slade asked me to announce the dedication of the new Mariners Lost at Sea Monument at Westport Point Turnaround on September 8th, Sunday at 3 p.m. And I think she said that ceremony would take about half an hour.
I'm sorry, but, I wouldn't say this in front of Betty.
Well, you're saying it on
Saying
camera.
it on camera.
Yeah, but hopefully she won't stand long enough to hear this. But it's just so disproportionate to the size of the plot there. And there's so much room left for other people to die. They can chip their name in. But how did that get approved? It's like this huge block of,
It's a headstone.
it's so huge. It just doesn't work there. I'm sorry, it doesn't.
So it sounds like you want your name
How
inscribed.
did it get approved?
What?
How long has it been there?
Not
It's
long.
Not long.
No, yeah, it's a month.
Okay, so should we close the official hearing and do the other piece?
Yes.
That we were gonna do? Okay.
Yes. Okay, so we are going to enter executive session to discuss the minutes of July 9th, 2024. I don't think we need to record do you record the executive session? No, no,
So we
okay.
can close the official now.
Close the
The
camera.
select board usually says they'll come out of the executive session just to adjourn.
Yeah, we're gonna adjourn directly from the executive session, which, so I think we're done with the recording, done with the public part of the meeting.
You got to vote to go into executive.
Yes,
Right.
thank you.
I make a motion for us to go into executive session.
A second.
Ward Rooney, aye.
Beverly Shook, aye.
Deborah Chialfi, aye.
Garrett Stuck, aye.
Catherine Reppert, aye.
Caroline Boger, aye.
Okay, we are now in executive session.